Well, MBT, welcome back for another one of my sadistic games. You ready for what I've got cooked up for you today?
Why am I rolling up to this, like, jigsaw? Like, hello, Joseph. Today, we will be torturing you.
Do you want to play a game?
Yeah, I guess I'm ready, yes.
Well, you did so well last time that we thought we'd bring you back for another one. So today, I have had the AI generate us some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Now, before anyone says anything, all the art from these cards are from Yu-Gi-Oh art creators, so we did not have any AI-generated art. It is just the cards and effects themselves. And so what I want you to do is put your knowledge to the test to see if you can determine whether or not this card is a real card or if it is a fake card. How do you feel about that?
I will never lose to an inferior machine.
Well, I guess we'll have to see if that is the case. Let's start you with your first card. Why don't you give this a read?
Okay, first up we have Fairy Guardian. This is like the clearest, most AI card I've ever seen. 3 stars, wind. You contribute this face-up card and target one spell card in your graveyard. Place it on the bottom of the deck. This is like, oh no. If I knew the set name, I could probably do this. Because this is one of those...
we weren't showing you that.
Yeah,
we weren't showing you that.
That's one of those completely forgettable cards they released in like the first 15 sets.
So for context, I did throw all of these into a card generator, so they all look the same, and I removed the set name and for that exact reason. Because, you know, like I said, it would give too much away if you could just go by the set. I was one step ahead of you on that.
So the first thing I'm thinking about Fairy Guardian is that this does not guard anything. If we lived in a perfect world where Konami was realistic about naming their cards, I would be like, well, it's just the name isn't apt, so it's definitely fake. You know, why does a witch of the Black Forest search a monster? Who knows?
At least it's a fairy, so if it is fake, you know, at least they got that part right.
Yeah, I mean, well, it is a fairy, but it's not a guardian. It doesn't search the Guardian Axe Grawl.
Raphael would be so disappointed.
Is he a guardian truther?
He was the guardian guy from the anime.
Raphael from the anime. I was thinking.
What do you think, Raphael Nevin?
Yeah, I was like, Raph Nevin was a fairy. All right, okay, let's. This card is so stupid. It's so dumb. Is this problem-solving card text? Is this real or? I bet this is like an old card with text that's like, you can send this card to the graveyard to select one of your graveyard's cards.
I will say, unless the AI, when creating these, was incorrect. But what was actually funny about this is sometimes it would produce an effect that wasn't PSCT. If I told it to make it PSCT, it would. And I was actually kind of impressed by that. So all of the cards you're reading should be the proper PSCT formatting. Now, whether or not that's like the old card or not, I'm not going to say, because that could potentially give it away. But, you know, if it got reprinted, it obviously got PSCT at some point, if it is a real card.
Okay, this card is unfortunately a perfect example of why I believe AI as a generative process will fail. It's a huge, unbelievable flavor fail. The art looks like how to draw anime. Why do they have a scythe and a spear coming out of the scythe and a mace? What's going on there? 3-star wind for no reason, an effect that no one could ever want. This has got to be a real card. It could only come from the mind of like a 2003 Yu-Gi-Oh designer.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Would you like to give a guess if you think it's real, what set it's from?
I don't know. Pharaonic Guardian.
You are very close. It was Labyrinth of Nightmares, so you are correct. This is a real card. I will say, I do not think this card has been reprinted with problem-solving card text, so I did think I had to actually make it PSC because it was exactly like what you said. I think it was like...
I'm looking it up.
It was just worded weirdly, and it would have given it away too, obviously. So... had to have it uniform for the video, but you are correct. You're on the board, one for one. And
one short print. Well. I'm going to buy out this card. Offer this face-up card as a tribute to return a spell card to your graveyard by your opponent during this turn to the bottom of your deck. That's so good.
Now, let me ask you this. If they used that text, would you have thought it was AI generated?
I think I would have. That is incomprehensible.
Okay, maybe I should have gone with that then. I was trying to be nice and just make it all consistent for you. All right, you're on the board. Let's see what you think of this one.
Oh, I know. Fire Sorcerer. Banish 2. Oh, I don't think this is...
Remember, all the art is real art. All the art is real art. So everything else is up for question here.
You really picked some art that looked like it was AI generated.
That was the idea. That was the idea.
Okay,
Why doesn't she have a nose, by the way?
That's what I'm wondering. I am wondering that for sure. And
I
boy,
never noticed that.
this effect is really bad.
Bad enough that an AI would conjure it?
No, I think this one's real too. I'm pretty confident that this one is. I'm pretty confident this one is real. I know that there is a card kind of like this, but that's so bad. There were burn spells in early Yu-Gi-Oh that did 800.
Yeah, there's a few. There's a few. I think Amazon Archer, I think that's banned for us. That was early Yu-Gi-Oh! And that wasn't 800. I think that was 1200, though.
I'm going to go with my gut. I think this is a real card.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Well, you're 2 for 2. You are correct. This is also a real card. As terrible as it is, Labyrinth of Nightmare had some fantastic old cards.
Same set.
Great.
I'm looking it up.
Same set.
Randomly select 2 cards and remove them from play. Another single printing, buying it out.
I'm sure Yu-Gi-Oh! Finance is going to love that. All right, next up, card number 3. You're 2 for 2. Let's see if you can keep the streak going.
Oh, I am streaking, baby. Dimensional Rift. Where are you finding these cards? Oh, no. Okay, so the problem I'm seeing with this card, usually when something comes out of a dimension hole, it's the same hole. It's like that weird purplish miasma that's on, like, chain summoning. You know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
DD Crow, all the DDs. And this isn't that. But it could just be a card from, like, 1999 before they realized they should be doing that. This targets a monster on the field, banishes it, then returns it to the field. There's no way this is a real card. It's interdimensional matter transporter, which people were already trying to break, but it's actually good. It's got a hard once per turn on it, and I imagine that it wouldn't have a hard once per turn on it unless it was a relatively new card, in which case the art would be better. If this is a new card and there's a clip of me doing like a new cards PogChamp talking about the implications of this card, I'm going to feel like a moron, but I'm pretty sure that this is AI generated.
Final answer.
Final answer.
You are correct. 3 for 3. This is what the card is inspired by. This is Dimension Distortion. Give this one a read.
Ooh, you brightened the art on this one. You can only activate this card if there are no cards in your graveyard. Select one, remove from play monster, and special summon it to your side of the field. You know, I read this and I went, wow, that's like DDR. That's pretty good. And then I realized if you have a spell card engraved, this is off.
Yep.
Yeah, no, this is not good.
Horrible. No. Horrible. This was from Magician's Force, I want to say. So this is also a very old card. The art, I think, gives that away.
Ooh, but yeah. Think about this. Dimension Shifter. Bestial, target the Dimension Shifter. Distortion, summon back the Dimension Shifter. Overlay for Beatrice.
Now you're cooking.
Oh,
now you're cooking. Now you're cooking. If only she wasn't banned. Rest in peace.
Then it's unplayable.
I don't know what is this thing in this artwork? Is this on any other artwork? If anyone in the comments knows, the closest thing to this is like Freezing Beast, and I think that's even a stretch.
I was gonna say it looks like a really angry White Knight Dragon, but it's got like hands, like human.
I can see that. I can see that, but White Knight Dragon is so much later on in Yu-Gi-Oh! Do you really think they thought that far ahead?
Absolutely not.
All right, next card. Next card.
Shadow of the Abyss. Ah, dang it. I don't know where you're finding. Somehow you have found every card I've never seen in my life.
That was the idea. I actually had to put a lot of work into this because I know your knowledge of this game is quite vast. So I really had to go out on a limb to find some of the artwork for this.
When your opponent's monster declares an attack, negate that attack and end the battle phase. Then inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. Oh, this is a scary one. This is a card that would have to have come out recently. It's got a hard once per turn. This effect is not bad. Negate the attack, end the battle phase, burn your opponent. If this existed back in old Yu-Gi-Oh!, people would certainly be considering this in, like, the Dimensional Prison slot, the Sakuretsu Armor slot. You know, if this was in GOAT, people would eat it up. So it would have to be a new card that just didn't take, because at the end of the day, it is a battle trap. Okay, this is either like a 2017 like Code of the Duelist card I've just completely forgotten, or it is AI generated. So I'm going to say AI generated on this one.
You sure? This seems to be the one that stumped you the most so far.
Yeah, and the art is really good too. Like they've drawn the clouds really well, so it really could be a new card that's just dog water. But I think I'm going to say AI generated.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Well, I don't know how he does it, ladies and gentlemen, but he is correct. This is the card it is based off of. It is not legal for the TCG yet. This card is called Spirit Illusion. So that was one of the things I had to do when finding the art for this. I figured if it's art that's from newer cards that are like too new that maybe you haven't seen them yet, or maybe you only glossed over them very briefly, it is probably very likely you have not seen them. So that's
this
how
is a
one of the ways
cool card.
Yeah, it's a neat card. Like the actual effect itself is pretty neat. He's just digging into this card now.
Yeah, no, I'm in the zone. I'm like, it's for those of you at home, this card is an equip spell that lets you fusion summon like Nef Shadal fusion for like fiends and zombies, and then it summons tokens with the same attack equal to the monster it's equipped to. And then it does the what's the stupid big fusion dragon Necro Nethersoul or something. It matches attack like that card on a token. It's really interesting. It's kind of
neat. It's a neat card.
Fun card. It would have been fun if like there was a zombie deck that could play Isold, but now of course that is impossible.
It'd been fun if it came out when like Drago Nether came out.
Yeah, and not in 2024
like 10 years ago at this point. Yeah. What about this card?
Ooh, okay, so here's the problem. There is a card called Twinheaded Wolf. It does have this stats in this art. I don't know if this is the effect. I know the effect is so bad that I never considered it in anything, and this effect is very slightly better than it would take for me to never consider this in anything. If this is like an old-ass card, I could see, and it is, I could see playing this in like a fiend-oriented Reaper deck, maybe? Like, that's not a... But actually, no, I couldn't, because it's just flip effect. It's not Hades. It's just flip effect Hades.
But by old Yu-Gi-Oh standards, is that good enough?
Hell no, it's not. Oh, man.
I don't know, man. You summon your Dark Necrofear with your Twin-Headed Wolf and attack over their Magician of Faith. That's pretty good.
That's true. You know who else beats that is Sasuke Samurai. I'm going to say this card is not real. Or is real. This is a real card that someone sat down and decided in office.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Well, Joseph, this is the first time. No. I'm just kidding. You got it. Correct.
Right,
correct. This is from, I think this is from Legacy of Darkness, which was like one of the first sets that really introduced a lot of tribal support. That's like the warrior support, fiend support. That is the set I think that Hades actually came out in. And if I'm wrong, I'm sure everyone will correct me.
Quick plug here. If you want to experience a really fun draft environment, that set is actually quite fun to draft because it has like sub themes. It's like Fiend and Warrior. I think
Dragon.
Dragon is the big one. Yeah, it's nice.
I remember when we did that for our respective like sealed series. Like that was like just a really fun set overall. All right, what do you think about this one?
Are you joking? You're gonna step to me with Omega Judgment and expect that I don't know the greatest Pendulum Icarus attack of all time? This is not only a real card, this is the realest shit I've ever seen. This card fucks. It's so good.
So that's your answer?
Final answer. It's real.
Yeah. You got it. I think that's the first one you've probably actually known out of all of these.
I've actually played a non-zero amount of this card. It's got a ton of really funny applications. It's showed up historically in some good deck lists. Like I said, it plays really well with pendulums, right? Like pop my double Iris Magician and two of your opponent's monsters. That's crazy. It plays really well with a bunch of terrible-ass decks that equip monsters into the back row. I mean, obviously, it's got the Vylon on it. But there's a ton of those. There's like a ton of just like terrible-ass decks that equip monsters or put monsters in the back row. Especially now more than ever. Play this in Snake Eyes. See what happens.
This card is generic enough, too, that I feel like an AI could have come up with this, which is why I threw this one in here, just in case you hadn't seen it before. But I figured, out of everything we've seen thus far, I figured if there's a card you did know, this was probably going to be the start of it. So speaking of which, let's see if you know this card.
Oh, fuck. Okay, so I recognize this guy. So Refract Bounder. So Reflect Bounder did recently get a retrain. And it is this guy. It does have these stats. I could not tell you one thing about its effect. I remember reading it in like a Yu-Gi organization article and being like, this card sucks, and never thinking about it again.
Yes, we got him, ladies and gentlemen. We got him.
Okay. When another monster you control is attacked by an opponent's monster, before damage calculation, if you do, you can destroy the... Oh my god, it's just Reflect Bounder. It's not
exactly Reflect Bounder,
because Reflect Bounder but doesn't just other monsters and it doesn't destroy.
Yes, because old Reflect Bounder doesn't destroy the monster, which is one of the reasons why people kind of thought that card, like in retrospect, was awful.
It got limited. It's limited. They were like, you can only play one of this card.
To be fair, though, in old Yu-Gi-Oh, there weren't many good lights to play, and I think Reflect Bounder, when you look comparatively, that's kind of where it fit in.
It is funny to be like, what's the chaos hit? Well, there's one playable light monster, and we're not banning Thunder Nyan Yan. Actually, didn't Nyan Yan spend some time on the list in the OCG or something?
I don't think so.
Something
maybe in the
stupid like
OCG.
that.
Definitely not TCG. Definitely not TCG.
Yeah, certainly. Of course, nowadays, we know that the best light target in the world is that 6 cannon. That shit is crazy.
Of course.
Okay, this is a hard card to place. It all make the this is how good is AI? If AI has sufficiently advanced to make our job as Yu-Gi tubers obsolete, then this is perfect. It is a bad card, super forgettable, from a new set designed to drive engagement from people on Instagram who are like, I like the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and the effect is so forgettable that you'll never remember what it does. So either this is AI's greatest triumph, or this is a real card that I had to spend seconds of my precious time on this planet pretending might be playable so that people would click the video. I'm going to say this is a real card.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
No!
This is the first one that AI has fooled you, Joseph. It is Psychic Bounder.
Oh.
And why don't you go ahead and read the effect of this? It is infinitely... I don't know what you want to say about this, but go ahead and read it. Go ahead and read it.
Jinzo support!
Read it for the audience. Read it for the audience.
If this card is normal or special summoned, you could add a Jinzo or a spell trap that lists this card in its text from your deck to your hand. Oh my god. When another monster you control is attacked by an opponent's monster before damage calculation, you can destroy both the attacking monster and this card. This is a better... the AI did a better job of making the Bounder retrain.
That's what I thought.
It doesn't burn. It searches Jinzo. This is unthinkable, dude. This card is named fucking Psychic Bounder. It's a machine. You want me to believe that AI was that much ahead of us on this card? Oh my god.
Oh my god. That was amazing. That was a good one to get you with. That was a good one to get you with. All right. Let me know what you think about this card.
Now I'm second guessing everything. Reties End. I've never seen this card, despite the fact that the art looks really new, and this is like a cool name for a card. If
it's a cool name. That's what I thought.
If your opponent activates a card effect that targets a card you control, negate the activation, and if you do banish that card, you cannot special summon the turn you activate this card. Well, this explains why I haven't heard about it. And it's got a hard once per turn. Okay, so the fucked up part about this card is that it all makes sense. The guy looks a lot like the guy on... Oh god, what's that, like, Phantom Darkness Rare? That's...
Prometheus? Is that what you're thinking of?
No, I think this might be Prometheus, but what it's reminding me of is that Phantom Darkness Rare that's just a picture of a dude in a cloak, and it's if your opponent activates a card that targets a dark monster you control, negate and destroy it.
Oh, Dark Illusion.
Yeah.
Dark Illusion.
And this is kind of like a send-up to Dark Illusion. Like, the art looks similar... The effect is similar. I don't know what these gems are doing. I'm not exactly sure what the gems are for. And it would make sense that I've never heard of this because it is ass bad. It's like if they target, negate, and destroy, and then they just try to sneak that in there. They said, also you can't special summon.
It's an interesting card. I feel like this is a card that we would read in the card reviews and be like, okay, like, maybe. You know, it's not something, you know, like Psychic Bounder that you just immediately forget about.
That's why it's giving me pause, is because I should know about it. Like, interesting enough of a card that I should have thought about it at some point, but I've never seen this card ever. It's a really good AI card if it's an AI card. But now you've got me questioning everything. I think this card is mechanically interesting enough that I should know about it. It's also weird that this is a normal trap. Feels like it should be a counter trap. I'm going to say that this, in fact, is AI generated.
Interesting. What's your thinking? You seem to be flip-flopping on this one.
I am. It's the fact that it's a trap card is the number one. If it was a send up to Dark Illusion, it would be a counter because I think that card's a counter. Maybe it is. It does some stuff that I think is interesting. Like any card that prevents you from special summoning is immediately suspect for a bunch of floodgatey YouTube combos. This card reads powerful enough that you would think a bunch of like children would be like, I have to protect my monster, I'll play this card. And there really doesn't need to be a hard once per turn on this card. But, like, trap cards that do powerful things occasionally do have hard once per turns on it, so I think, like, maybe that tripped up an AI. So I think this is AI generated.
Final answer.
Final answer.
I thought I was going to get you on this one, but you are correct. I guess the fact that the AI did not put that it was a counter trap was probably the biggest giveaway. This card is another OCG card called the 7th Tachyon.
Oh, it's Galaxy support?
Apparently.
All right, I'm looking this card up. 7th Tachyon.
I'll be honest, I did not read this card, but yeah, go ahead and read it.
Oh, this card whips ass. Reveal a number Xyz monster from your extra deck with a number between 101 and 107. Add a monster with the same type or attribute as the... I should know this card. I'm so sorry to all of my generator players. They were exploring this card as a mechanism to search individual cards when it was revealed. This is
so funny.
This is Small World 2. On a level equal to its rank from your deck to your hand, then put a card from your hand on top of the deck. You can't special from the extra deck except for Xyz for the rest of the turn. Yeah, no, people were testing this, and I completely forgot about it. I remembered 7th Tachyon. I didn't remember the art. That's embarrassing.
Well, at least you got it right. Otherwise, Dyer might have just quit on the spot after watching this video.
No.
Next card.
This shit is not real. This can't be real. I've never heard of this card. Sorry of the Silver Wing Axe. What a cool design for a little creature. This is AI. You can target one face-up monster on the field. Equip this card from your hand or field to it. It gains 100 attack and defense. Oh, no. This card is so cool.
Let's go through your mind.
This card is neat as hell. This would be a new card. There are a lot of weird free agents that are just in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now. They just print cool cards that are mechanically unique and never show up anywhere. So this could theoretically be one of those. The name kind of sucks. I would imagine if this was being designed by a human, they would like try and do something with the fact that she's like 1 inch tall. But I get the joke. She's really small, has a low attack stat, and then she gives them that tiny low attack stat. I don't like this templating. This like first line of text, quick effect, : that is how it should work, I think, but it looks bad. I'm going to say this is not real because of that.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Oh, we got him again, ladies and gentlemen. This card is 100% real.
Quick effect, : what the hell? What is this in?
It was recent, I think. Photon Hypernova, so relatively new at the time that we're recording this.
I should know this card. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Yep. Oh, man. Yeah, this is like one of those ones where it's like, it's simple enough that an AI could have come up with it, I feel like. And especially like with what you said with quick effect being at the beginning, I thought that could be potentially something that trips you up. Mm-hmm. And yeah, just a weird card. Like, why would they print this in this day and age? Also, why is it a machine? That's just like seemed also out of place for me. So I thought if anything, that could also trip you up.
Yeah, it's freakish. It is strange.
Interesting. All right, let's move on to the next one. This will be good.
Heritage of the Light. If a monster is Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, or Xyz summoned, while a monster with the same card type is on the field, you can draw a card. And the guy in the middle is Masterpiece, I think, right? Or Master Pendulum, or one of those assholes.
That's what it looks like. I mean, it's either that or it could be, what's that one pendulum, like, little dragon guy that people played? Like, Dragonies?
Yeah.
Remember, there's, like, that, like, level 4 guy that people... It kind of looks like him, too, so I'm not sure.
So I remember this art, and I remember...
Well, the art's all real, so that's not going to help you.
Yeah, I remember seeing it on some cards. And this is a card I would pick up, read, and then never think about again.
That's the idea.
It doesn't have links on it. If I recall correctly... This card predates the existence of links.
Ooh, okay.
So,
all right.
Ritual, Fusion, Synchro. Yikes. This is a rough one. If it's something stupid, like this is a field spell, I'm going to be upset. But I think that I think this card is real. I think this card is a real card that someone designed.
Is there any reason, like, that you're leaning that way?
Yeah, it seems like something that I've thumbed through in bulk a lot. That's really the only thing that is leading me down this path.
Well, I guess you thumbing through bulk has paid off because you are correct. This card is in fact real. This one was like I said, I think just like really having to dig through just really old forgettable cards was a lot of fun. And I read this and I'm like, oh yeah, no one's ever like looked at this card ever. So,
yeah.
But you did, and it paid off for you for this exact reason. All right, next card.
Decisive Reversal.
Gonna give this one a read?
Yeah, this is a trap card. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a card you control, target another card on the field that would be an appropriate target for that card effect. This card's slash effect now targets the new target. You can only activate one Decisive Reversal a turn. And I do recognize the guy on the card. It's the new Ancient Gear, right?
I don't think it is, but I think it looks like this.
Are you sure?
I think it has like a similar pose. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Don't go looking it up in case I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
An image. I don't know.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think the card looks similar, like, compositionally to what you might be thinking.
I'm going to be really irritated if this is a real card. But at present, I'm reading this and I'm like, this is Switch, right? This is just Switch, the card Switch. Except Switch can only change to one of your cards.
Is this what you're thinking of, by the way?
Dark Golem? No. I think I'm gonna Ancient Gear Commander. Is I think.
Okay, I'll look it up. Oh no, this is not even close to the same art.
Are you sure?
I'll show you.
Okay.
I'll show you. I'm the host here. I'll decide what is entered in.
Oh,
this is not even close. I think what I showed you was closer.
No, this is literally him. This is him on the card. Oh my god. Okay. It's literally him. I'm looking at it. Okay, maybe.
Okay, fine. You can think that. That's fine.
I don't know. I think the name sucks too. Like, what on earth? What is a reversal here? Like, you would expect to see him like reversing something, but he's just punching really hard into a shield. This is like a terrible card that gives like your Ancient Gear Golems piercing, but they already have piercing. It gives them like, oh, is this the continuous trap? Oh, hold up.
You are so fixated on this being an Ancient Gear card.
If this isn't an Ancient Gear, I'm just cooked. I am so cooked. But it's so totally an Ancient Gear that doesn't matter. This card doesn't exist. This is not a real card. This is invented by an AI, I believe.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Okay, now let me ask you a second part of this before I tell you. Do you think this is an Ancient Gear card?
Oh, undoubtedly.
Undoubtedly. So let me ask you this. If you are that certain, would you be willing to take a point loss if you were incorrect?
No, because I feel like you wouldn't be asking unless I was wrong.
Well, you are correct. Decisive Reversal is, in fact, an AI-generated card. I thought this was kind of cool. It, like, took the Karen Gorgon effect and, like, put it on a trap card. That was, I guess, like, the inspiration behind this one. I don't know if that would ever be good enough to be playable, but I don't think we've ever had any other card that really does what Karen Gorgon does.
Well, Shift is
this
close.
is the card, dumbass. It's Pyrite Knight.
Oh, this is not an ancient... Okay, but this guy is Ancient Gear coded. He's...
Oh, my God. Whatever. The comments will be able to determine that one.
Okay, Shift is... Is it just attacks? When your opponent targets exactly one monster you control with an attack or a spell trap effect, target another monster you control that would be an appropriate target. So this just makes it any monster on the field. That's kind of cool. It's like an interesting take on it.
I think so. And also, too, the fact that it's cards, because I think Shift is only one card.
And it doesn't do monster effects. Yeah, there's... Yeah.
Right. It's like, it would be an upgraded version. So I actually think, like, I don't know if this would be playable. Yeah, like, this is, like, a neat design, I think. It's weird how, like, the AIs come up with some actually interesting cards. It came up with Reties End. It came up with this. Like, I'm actually kind of impressed with some of these. All right. Let me know what you think about this one.
You fool! Of course I know that Humongous Hive Hegemon Zek Stagger exists. Oh, this is the guy. I mean, for individuals who can't afford Bear Graham, this is the best boss you're getting. You know, I think that this is his effect. It might be like Insect on the Field or the Graveyard, but I feel confident enough. This guy's real.
You are correct. You are correct. I think the problem is with this one is that it's probably too much text for like an AI to really come up with this.
It does have a very...
There is a point where...
It has a very AI effect, though.
It does. It does. That's why I picked it, because, again, if you hadn't seen this, I thought this would be a good one. But also, the effect just does seem very out there, let's say. Give it a read for those who are unfamiliar with it.
Okay, gains 300 attack for each insect monster on the field, except for this card. So, like, if your whole board's full, he's like a 3K. Like, it's like, oh my god.
Whoa!
If Humongous, you can only use each effect once per turn. If an insect monster is special summoned, except during the damage step, this is weird. It should be on summon. So it's not like an extender. It's like an extender for your extender. You can special summon this card from your hand, and then during the end phase, activate this effect. Each player can special summon one insect from their hand or grave, but negate its effects. They don't want you getting Scary Moth out. I remember I played a lot of that Bee Trooper Insect Mishmash deck, like a real slop of a build. And for a while, they were playing one copy of this card because, like, it's...
Oh, interesting.
Its stat line lines up really nice. Like, being a big guy that you can special summon is important. But it's, like, the third best guy who does that behind, like, Doomdozer and, like, there's... And B-Gram. And so it's just, like, it didn't last very long. I just love that it negates the effects because otherwise it would be a coherent part of an end board. It'd be like, oh, okay, and then I'll bring back like Scary Moth.
Right.
I'll bring back nope.
It's really frustrating because in Masochist, it's like obviously I'm like the Bear Grim stand now, and it sucks because when you look at like all of the insect and plant support throughout Yu-Gi-Oh's history compared to all of the other types in the game, they kind of got the short end of the stick, and they make cards like this, and it's kind of rough. We have to make do with what we can. All right, let me know what you think about this card.
Okay. Mirage Veil. Target one monster on the field. It cannot activate its effects or be destroyed by battle. Also, its attack becomes 0. You can only activate one Mirage Veil per turn. This is so clearly AI. This is AI. If it's not AI, it was printed in 2001 because it breaks so many rules. It like forces you to keep track of the monster that's Mirage Veiled, has a random once per turn on it. This card has to be AI.
It's so interesting that you say that. How is it that obvious if you think so?
Well, there are versions of this effect that I think could exist, and they'd be like an equip spell or like a trap card. And like, I don't know if any equip spells have a fucking once per turn on them. It's just weird to be like, yeah, it's this like old removal spell that doesn't really work. Also, you have to keep track of it for the rest of the game, and it has a hard once per turn on it, right? I could see this being printed.
This turn. It says this turn. It's not permanent.
I don't think this card's real. This is fake as hell.
All right, you're right. It's fake as hell. The art for this is actually a card called Ocean of Regeneration.
Oh, I've never heard of that card either.
Well, because we haven't gotten it in America yet. That's why.
I see where you're farming these from. Oh, this card's terrible.
Yeah, it's easy.
It's just a reborn, but way worse. Oh, no, it's a continuous reborn. Okay, it's just White Salvation, but worse.
All right, let me know what you think about this card.
You're going to step to me with fucking Nutbuster Dragon? Not the Nutbuster Dragon? All right, I think the only outcome in which this is fake is if you've changed 800 to 600. I thought it was 800, but I could be wrong. This is real.
Not me. The AI. The AI.
This is so real.
All right, you're right. This is real. This is real. This is like a really cool. I wish they printed this like years ago. Like I'm talking about like early Yu-Gi-Oh, because I think this would have been like a sick payoff in old Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'm gonna be real with you. I think it is pretty good now too. First up. This card, of course, very famous for its the fact that it featured in Nutbuster Dragon, the iconic Twitter post. But secondly, this card is not awful in Vernisylph lists because you just need a critical mass of like Earth guys to discard. You discard this guy, and then they all reborn from the grave. So you just like, as part of setting up your combo, get to pop 2 cards. It's not bad. It's like pretty strong in that deck specifically. The problem is that deck came out in the same set as Sprite and Tearlament.
No, that makes sense. I mean, there's so many cards that I feel like, especially as we've gone through this, right, that just like fall by the wayside to just everything else in the set that is just by far and away the best thing that you could be doing, the thing to get excited about. And like over time, right, they have to come up with like other creative ways to get people excited about these like random free agent cards that they like throw in there. And it sucks because I feel like so many of those designs would have been better. Like you said, it's good now, that's fine. But like even by older Yu-Gi-Oh standards, so many of these cards, like how many times do we say if this card was printed a year earlier, right, that it would have just been like insane or like one of the best things that you could be doing. It's kind of unfortunate in a lot of ways. But, all right, well, you're right on point. Looks like your streak is back. Let's see what you think about this card.
I almost hope this is an AI name. The Legend of Tickets. Target a card in your graveyard. Place it on top of the deck during the end phase of this turn. Also draw 2 cards instead of 1 for your normal draw during your next draw phase. So this card sucks. It's got an awful name. The Legend of Tickets. It's got an awful effect. It does nothing. It like you activate it and then later in the turn you have to remember that you activated it. All of that is making me think it's obviously AI. However, This does strike me as one of those stupid fucking cards they release for Japan only to commemorate some sort of event or holiday that we don't have in America. Like, occasionally they'll do a card and it's like, this inscrutable card is a reference to a Japanese gift-giving tradition. And I'll be like, oh, they got me.
So that's the only reason you would think this is real.
I don't think it's enough. I'm going to still say this is an AI card.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Well, you are incorrect. This card is, in fact, real, and you were right on the money.
No!
And you went against your judgment. So this card was actually, do you know the big inflate dragon guy? The guy that gets to like 10,000 attack if you banish 50 cards from the top of your... So it comes in the same pack as this. There's only 5 cards in that pack, and the pack only gives you 1 card per for whatever like promotional reason that they did do this. This is the Legend of Duelist promotion pack. I think this might just be to celebrate the 25th anniversary. And so I had never seen this card before. I would have been shocked if you had seen this card before, because I feel like you and I have a pretty good grasp on a lot of the cards in this game. I remember everyone hyping up the big inflate dragon just because it had a really dumb, funny effect.
Yeah.
But this I'd never seen before. And it seemed like it would be fake, so I thought this would have been a fantastic one. So this one might trip a lot of people up. I also like how the Legend of Tickets is in English on the Japanese card, too. I find that also
explains
really funny.
it then. Like, it's a weird way to say this thing, but it's like, no. It's like Japanese English, you know?
I will say I cheated a little bit because if you look at the art, I cropped it to get rid of the little Yu-Gi-Oh button thing that's in the bottom right corner there. Because I feel like if you saw that, you would have 100% thought that this was real.
Yeah, I would have been like, oh, stupid promo card. It's real.
Exactly. I would, as I was crafting, I'm like, I think I just gotta do a little bit of photoshopping there. Just a little bit of photoshopping. But it worked. It paid off. All right. What do you think about this? We're almost finished.
I don't know if it's real, but it's cool as hell. Target a monster on the field. Special summon 2 tokens with the same name, attack, defense, level, type, and attribute of that monster. So there is an old card, I think, called Doppelganger? Or like Clone or something. It's got a
Cloning is what you're thinking of.
That does it once. But it doesn't...
There's a Kaiba card.
Yeah, it doesn't do all of it. I think it's just attack and defense.
I think it might be attack, defense, and possibly type. And I think cloning specifically is only when the monster is summoned.
Oh,
so
no,
you
this
can't
isn't...
just do it at any point.
This isn't the card I'm thinking of. The card I'm thinking of has, a plasma-looking guy on it. Chad, you'll have to correct me. I might be thinking of a card that does something completely different, but I feel like looks like clone. This is weird. The thing that's tripping me up about this card is that there's a lot of decks where this has a really specific application. If you can produce a monster with a name that is changeable, there's a lot of YouTube combos that enables. But in order to activate this, you'd already have to have that named card on the field. So I guess any scenario in which you would want to do it, you already have it. I think I would try and... I think I would have seen people try and break this card if it existed. So I'm going to say this is this is a fake card, rather.
Interesting. So you think this is too good... or good enough that you would have seen it, that people would have tried to, like, do something with it, and because that isn't the case, that's why you think it's a fake card.
Let me rephrase. I don't think it's good at all. I think that it is mechanically interesting enough that I would have seen people try and do something with it.
Well, you are correct for that exact reason. This card does not exist. In fact, this card is Split Mirror of the Underworld.
Oh, it's the Gore's condition, and if it's battle, special a monster from your graveyard with attack less than or equal to the damage and end the battle phase. And if it's effect, they take double. That's bad, but interesting. That's a very interesting
I think
card.
the card the AI came up with was a lot more interesting than this, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely be loading up Edo Pro and trying to make, like, A to Z catapult dragon cannon or something stupid.
Only a couple more left. See what you think about this one.
UFO Light. This card's real. This is what, a 55-star monster. Your opponent cannot target this card on the field with card effects except during the battle phase. Oh, that's weird. Does have the illusion effect. During the end phase, you can target one, or you could draw a card, then you must banish any number of cards from your hand. If you do this, card gets 500 attack for each. I believe this is real immediately. I believe this is a real off rip. You have put in front of me a dog-ass illusion monster, which is Konami's favorite thing to print. And unfortunately, I have read every illusion monster because Chimera has such an available search that any illusion that is even remotely good propels the deck into tiered status, and they've just never printed a good one. So I think this is real.
And you're correct for that exact reason. I thought this card was just so bizarre, and I'm like, oh, good. They just made, like, upgraded UFO Roid, and it's infinitely worse in, like, you know, every possible conceivable way. So
Yep.
I guess you can get it off of UFO Turtle. That's kind of cool, right? 1500 attack to fire. You know, that works. That works. Last one.
Zeromus, the Shadowed King. Okay, this is fake because I would have heard of a card this cool. Okay, this is a Fiend. It's an 8-star monster with 3k. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish a dark monster from your graveyard, special this card. You can banish a dark monster in your graveyard, target a card on the field, and banish that target. Fuck, this card's tight. Oh, this card is sick. And he's supposed to be like the king of the Lair of Darkness world, probably.
That's what it looks like.
Oh,
yeah.
shit, this guy rocks. You know, unfortunately, I think I do know this one. I think it's fake, and the reason I can tell it's fake is because it's too good. This card would be, it would go hard in, like, crush cards trying to preach the doctrine of Lair of Darkness to people. I banish a dark monster from your graveyard, special this card. Oh, the thing holding it back is it's got that weird once per turn where it can only do one of them.
There you go. There you go.
And that effect isn't quick. Oh, no. This is something like what they would print. Oh, no. Oh, this one's hard.
I was going to say, if you could use both effects in the same turn,
oh, it'd be
or
so
if they were
cool.
quick effects, this, I think people would have brewed with this 100%. Like publicly. Like, we would know, we would have, like, maybe known something about this. Yeah.
I think this is real. I think this is real, but my heart says that it's fake. So I will say this is an AI card.
You don't seem convinced. You don't seem convinced.
No, I know it's an AI card, but I want so desperately for it to be a real card. And maybe
Final
a little
answer?
better.
Thoughts?
Final answer.
Prayers?
Final answer.
You're correct. It is a fake card introducing Vori Burial, the Dragon Undertaker.
All right, what does this do? It's an illusion. Fuck. If this card battles a monster, yeah. During the main phase, if a monster your opponent controls is sent to the graveyard, you can activate the following effect based on where the card is at activation, but you can only do each once. Hand special this card. Field, make one effect monster your opponent controls lose 1500 attack. Then if its attack becomes 0 by this effect, destroy it. It's so bad! No, it's so bad, but it's so cool.
I know. When I found this card, because this is also a very new card too, I was like, damn, they wasted some of the coolest artwork I've seen in like modern Yu-Gi-Oh history on this of all things.
I'm already trying to justify it. I'm like, no, but like against Snake Eye, they Diabell Star, right? And then you can summon it from hand. It's like a hand trap. And then they like special Poplar and they send it to the grave and you can, and then I'm like, no, it really does nothing. It really doesn't do anything.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
It's an onboard trick, you know? It's...
I think this is another example of, I think the AI did better than the actual card, to be honest.
I would play that other one. That sounds fun. You play it in a mill strategy. Halfway through, you're like, oh, cool, a guy. It's just an extender.
Yeah, and it's like, it's sort of like a different take on Gizmek. Right?
Yeah,
like, Gizmek was really good, though, because it was a quick effect, right? And so, obviously, I think that would be one of the biggest things holding this card back. But even so, like, having the dark attribute, the attack stat's really good. The fact that it is an extender or a pop, if it manages to live a turn, I don't know. Like, I think those types of cards, especially because we saw how popular Gizmek was historically, like, this would be something that people would have messed around with. And so I think that was the biggest limiting factor, is that if you thought you would have seen this in some decks, you might be like, I think X or Y deck would have played this. So there's no shot this is real. But you wanted it to be real, and it just isn't so. Take notes, Konami. Take notes. The AI did actually a pretty decent job, I think, coming up with some interesting effects. Not all of them were fantastic, obviously, because they weren't good enough to completely fool the master that is MBT. Did you have fun?
I did have fun.
What was your favorite card out of everything that you saw? Out of the fake ones, anyway.
I really like Zeromus. I'm not gonna. I have some plans for Doppelganger's Gambit. I will be completely honest.
There you go. It looks like the AI still needs a lot of work, and maybe in the future, when they get it to the point that it actually is going to take over the world, then maybe we'll just be seeing Konami making all their cards that way, and then they'll all be terrible if we've learned anything from this. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for another video. I really hope you all enjoyed. Let's go ahead and shout the patrons for all of their continued support. So shoutouts to Shout1317, Sim00x3, MBT Play Medolce, Moto, Cameron L. Smith, The Synchro Guy, Pony Stark, Dan the Menhoven, Little Fadeleaf, Draconic, Dylan Rare Hunter, JW11860, Brian Dancer of Class 7, Flannel Daddy, Twinkle Muncher, literally all of the guinea pigs, Cheeks McLapperty, Stolfin Amethyst, Wonder Waffle, MBT Cancel by Community soon, Cancel by all Committee soon, Cancel by all Players soon, Corvain, Absolute Angriest Peacock of the Edison Club, Daniel Howell, and life keeps using solemn judgment on my hopes and dreams. Thank you all so much again for watching, and we will see you next time.